Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, after the update went live and after the buff went live, we finally got an info about Arcade's tune-up. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the changes to his kit, how he deals damage now, compare him to some other tech champions, and give my general and overall thoughts about him. For this, unfortunately, I did not record the pre-buff gameplay of my 6-star rank 6 Arcade, but we should still have a fairly decent idea, and I actually like Arcade a lot better now. So let's take a look at it. So Torment debuff duration from his signature ability increased to 8 seconds at max level, up from 5. That's nice, so you get easier time keeping those torments up. Fabulous prize pre-fight abilities now last until Arcade's opponent's defeated instead of per fight. Basic but solid change. The final hit of his special 2 now grants 3 coins on hit, block, and dodge. Now this is a big change for him defensively largely. Change from just hit and block. So now, even if you dex that last Saw Blade, you do need to knock down Arcade in order to get rid of his auto block. Additionally, Arcade now loses 2 coins when knocked down from 5. That means you'll have to knock him down more often to get rid of his coins and his auto block. So, even though they said that they're going to be working on his poison damage, which they have, they also made him a better defender, which ultimately does give him more value as a defender. So there you go. Poisonous Cloud poison debuff potency increased from 40% to 70% of attack, so that's a fairly substantial amount of poison damage increase. Additionally, auto block shock debuff potency increased from 40% to 120% of attack. Auto block shock debuff duration reduced from 10 seconds 3 seconds. Well, that just means that you really do not want to get auto blocked by him without the shock immune champion, basically. So effectively, they have given him slightly more damage, and they have made him somewhat easier to use in quests and stuff, and they have also made him more potent defender, which I actually think is a solid tune-up. I really do. So let's take a look at what Arcade can do now. There we go. And this is already a post-buff gameplay. We can activate the pre-fights, even though in this type of situation they do not really matter. But we can see how he compares to Prowler and how he compares to future Ant-Man, because those I also have as 6-star rank 6 ascended champions. The base idea with Arcade is still kind of very simple. You want to get opponent to the corner, because then you can keep him in your poison cloud for long periods of time. Every time he enters that cloud, he gets a torment as well. So here we can see that I got 2 torments active, several poisons, and then you can kind of use whichever special you really like, depending on what opponent's immune to. I typically go to level 2s. You don't really need to utilize the auto block for the shock damage, because then you lose your potency on the debuffs, because your debuffs do more damage for each coin that you have, up to 100% increased potency. So here we can see that for the rest of the fight, you just kind of spam your specials in a corner. Whenever your trap is ready in the corner, you can get an easy stun there. That stun is long enough for you to drop a heavy attack and start a new combo. And then you can always drop a heavy attack with your relic as well. And here is a small mistake towards the end, but it does not affect the fight duration like at all really, because he's taking all the debuff damage, and I'm still just gonna drop my level 2. And once that's done, he's effectively dead. So that is now 1 minute 21. And let's take a look at how Prowler is going to do. So obviously we do know Prowler. The base idea is it's always kind of annoying to play against Winter Soldier. I think this might have been a fight where I mocked it up. Yeah, this is a fight where he was being a total douche. So we're gonna start it here again. I basically, you know, had a very solid and efficient prowler fight here. Just about ideal rotation as well, with the extra incinerate damage, with extra everything else. I do have my 30 Fury passives, you know, activated all the level 2s. Well, just basically very clean, nice prowler fight, as we can see here. And is it faster? Is it slower? It's 1 minute 11. So it's 10 seconds faster. And then I did it with Fam, who we all know as somebody that definitely has quite a solid amount of damage for matchups that you can play freely, and you know, if everything works out perfectly, and it did. And well, spoiler alert, Fam's faster. he just is. We might as well look at it. But for a dual purpose champion that has access to a ton of different debuffs, half decent defender, I actually kind of like Arcade now. I think he's a decently good champion. I might change my tech top 10 rankings now, because Arcade already got quite a bit of love recently, especially within the last couple of metas where he could be a potential nightmare. But now they made him even better defender, and also made him, you know, a bit more viable on offense. He still will not outpace champions like Fam and Prowler. This was 57 seconds. So Prowler was 10 seconds faster. Fam was 20 seconds faster, which is quite significant. But, you know, it's not half bad. I think it would still be viable, because like 1 minute 20 for 500k health pool for a 6-star rank 6. Typically in Battlegrounds you still deal with like 300k health pools, maybe a bit more now. And, you know, that's like a minute type of fight. Obviously, if you can access all your damage. That could be one of the downsides, because he does kind of rely to, you know, being able to drop all the different debuffs. Then again, you know, if opponents incinerate immune, you can drop level 1s for shock damage instead. And ultimately, you know, you do have quite a bit going on there for you. And we can see here, he's kind of slapping. So this fight was... 1 second. Why are you so laggy? This fight was, I think, 36 seconds. Okay, let's finish it up and take a look at it again. And come on. Very nice. A lot of debuff finish. I do like that as well, that he does have quite a lot of debuffs. So 37 seconds. You know, it's not the fastest. And then we're going to do the Venom the Duck, where we also will play quite neat into just about ideal rotation here, with all the tokens and everything, and he's just leaking out. He's not going to be the fastest stacker for sure though. 54 seconds for, you know, 200k health pool with class disadvantage. Not the best, not, I mean, it is on the weaker side, but I don't know. I think it is quite a good buff. I also brought him in against Labyrinth of Legends Star-Lord, just because I kind of enjoyed using him, and I also wanted to practice him a bit more. And his level 3 does have these permanent debuffs as well, which I want to test out, but, you know, that level 3 is not going to be useful just about ever. But it is kind of cool to have a fight with that many debuffs putting in work all the time. However, Arcade is definitely also a champion that kind of peaks out at his damage output, and you can never kind of like ramp it up further beyond this point, where you do have, let's say, you know, 4 bleeds, a handful of 4 bleeds, 4 incinerates, or like, you know, 8 of each, for instance, and like 10 poisons. You're never gonna get like more damage than this, really. But that's fine, you know, not every champion has to ramp up to insane amounts of damage. But I do enjoy using him now. And in between his access to 3 different immunities and his defensive potential, I do kind of like him now. The one issue I do have with Arcade is because he does have Shock on level 1 and Incinerate on level 2, And level 3 also has a chance to apply shock, which is something that I think Kabam overlooked. Because if we look at the mutant class as such, it's not the best idea to have shock and incinerate in your kits. So you can't use arcade really against onslaught. You know, shock or incinerate, you're gonna melt. Can't really use him against havoc. Well, you can, but it's not gonna be ideal because, well, you do not have an active armor up to begin with, and he's incinerate immune, and if you do ever happen to shock him, that's gonna be, you know, insta damage. You cannot use him against Bishop because, well, that's gonna suck if he's gonna start dealing tons of damage to you. And you can't really use him against Mr. Sinister either. Well, maybe against Mr. Sinister, kind of, but he ever throws those debuffs back at you, you're toast. So, for a tech champion, he's built quite interestingly, I'd say. And I don't think he has a good domino matchup. So, ironically, yeah, I guess that is like a deal breaker here, really. Because Arcade is a tech champion that kind of sucks against just about every mutant that matters. Wow, I didn't realize this before. And yeah, I mean, you can always not use special attacks, for instance, but his damage is already kind of garbage without that, so. I like him better. I really do. But how could Kabam overlook that? Is the tech champion that cannot really fight any of the good mutants. I guess that's the bottom line. I still like the buff though. I do think he's significantly better. But I had never thought about his matchup issue. Let me know what you guys think about Arcade buff. And I'm gonna catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next